Welcome back to another video, and we've officially reached spooky season as it is October 1st. So we are going to talk about the big three horror franchises. Of course, it's a Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger, Halloween, Michael Myers, and a Friday the 13th, Jason Voorhees. So I have a tier list, and we're going to tier rank all of these essential franchises if you're a horror movie fan. So our top tier is an absolute classic. Of course, it's something I think not just horror fans need to watch, but people who enjoy film need to watch. Essential viewing. I think if it's in October, you need to watch these films. I won't shut it off. So, if AMC is doing a marathon and it's on in the background, I'll keep it on. It doesn't offend me. I'll keep it on. Could do without. I think this really applies to the franchise. I think the franchise could not have this movie and be just fine. Fun size candy. When it comes to trick or treating, when you get fun size candy, it's almost an insult. So that's what the film is. It's an insult to my senses. And then razors in the candy, which is an old Halloween wise tale, I guess. I guess that's what you'd call it. Where or an urban legend, I guess. Yeah. So there are razors in the candy, which hasn't happened. I don't ever think people put razors in the candy, but someone did get poisoned in Texas. But I'll talk about that in another video. But anyways, so let's start off right here. We have the Halloween franchise. We have the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. And we have the Friday the 13th franchise. We'll start with Halloween. John Carpenter's Halloween. It is an absolute classic. Everything about this film is Halloween, right? It is the fall feel, the brown leaves, the atmosphere, the late 70s kind of vibe. Jamie Lee Curtis, the Scream Queen, of course. The introduction as Michael Myers, as not as Michael Myers, but as the Shape. Everything about this film, of course, I'd be remiss not to mention Dr. Samuel Loomis, Donald Pleasance, who is like, as far as the franchise goes, maybe his second best work in the franchise. I have a personal opinion of my favorite Dr. Loomis, but this is such a good film. It's an absolute classic. I think people who study film or enjoy film have to watch it. It is completely essential viewing. John Carpenter's Halloween. So we have the night. I think it's the night he came home again. Halloween 2. I wouldn't put it in a classic. I would put it, however, and I won't shut it off. There are a few things about this film I enjoy. I think the kills are better. You look at the kills in the first one, no blood, that's fine. But or very light blood. But the kills in the second one, I mean, you have when he leaves Laurie's house, you have the neighbor. You also have the I guess mechanic or the what was the guy's he did what's the word, janitor. There's so many different different kills in the movie that I think are great, but the end is what is my favorite part. Michael getting shot in both eyes, he's bleeding out the eyes, the gas in the room's cranking up. I mean, it's just so good. Spoiler territory for any of these, just ahead of time. Spoiler territory for all these films, pretty much. But Halloween 2 is a great film, and I wouldn't say it's essential viewing because it's just such a slow film, and I think everyone already kind of knows the deal between Laurie and Michael. They're really brother and sister. I think most people in the atmosphere know that are out there in the zeitgeist understand that. So I don't think it's essential viewing. However, it is a film that I won't shut off. If it's on, I'm gonna keep it on. It's fine. It doesn't offend me. It's very slow. It's very slow in my opinion, and it's crazy because they cranked up the violence in it. So Season of the Witch is not in there. If Season of the Witch was actually in this, for some reason I don't know why there's no Season of the Witch, I'd put Season of the Witch in essential viewing. I love the movie. I would watch it, every Halloween. Not much to that. I'm just gonna tell you that there. Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. Halloween 4 is my favorite or second favorite Halloween film of all time. And I'll tell you right now, John Carpenter's Halloween is not my favorite Halloween film. My favorite Halloween is Halloween H2O. But my second favorite is Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. And the reason is I have vivid memories of watching this as a child with my grandmother on AMC when they did their 31 Days of Frights or whatever it was called. And everything about this movie is great to me. Is Michael's mask a little too, white? Like, he looks kind of like a monkey a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. But everything about this movie I enjoy. The real feel of fall. Like, it feels more like fall than the first Halloween does. The opening is perfect. Everything about this to me is a perfect movie. It's a perfect Halloween film to me. I genuinely believe that. Jamie as Michael's niece, she does like some of the best child acting I've ever seen. Dr. Loomis, this is my favorite Dr. Loomis, where he's just like, he's had enough. He is on a mission. Michael is exceptionally brutal this time. Halloween 4 is my favorite, and I'm going to go ahead and move it up there. I'm going to try to rank these as I go. Halloween 4 is, in my genuine opinion, the greatest Halloween film, the second greatest Halloween film of all time. Now we have The Revenge of Michael Myers, and this I could do without. I could really do without The Revenge of Michael Myers. There's only a few things about this movie that I actually like, and one of the only things I actually enjoy about this film are the kills in the movie. And besides those, nothing about this is good to me. The whole Thorn thing, I don't really care for. Man in Black, I remember watching this as a kid and just kind of, when they're going to play Halloween 4 again. Because, they used to do the all-day marathons, so I would kind of just push through this one and push through the next two or whatever, just to get back to Halloween 4. But man, Halloween 5 I could do without. And I think the story could also do without. I think it could. I think you just end the story the way they end it and they carry on. But of course, the ending of Halloween 4, I'm going to leave that spoiler free. If you haven't seen it, go watch it and come back to me on that one. Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. Okay, so I used to really enjoy this movie a lot. I'm going to put it in the fun size candy category. This movie does actually insult my senses. There are a few things I like about it. I used to like the Halloween mixed with like an MTV kind of look they had to it. Like a more of a gothic horror look. I used to like that. But the characters are just, look, besides Dr. Loomis, the characters are just all so weird and whiny or just despicable people, So Tommy growing up and being Paul Rudd was, it's kind of interesting to see now. But besides that, the movie, like, it's an insult to my senses. And as you guys can see, these movies kind of progressively get worse. But yeah, let's keep that in fun size candy. Over here, now we have Halloween H2O, and I'm putting that in classic. Halloween H2O is a classic. I really like Halloween H2O. And once again, unpopular opinion, Halloween H2O, better than Halloween for me. I know you have to have Halloween for H2O, but everyone is just acting like, oh man. The acting in these movies, in this one, I believe, is like some of the best acting of the franchise. Unfortunately, there's no Dr. Loomis, but you get Jamie Lee Curtis back. You have Michelle Williams. Who is homie? Dude always looks like Josh Hartnett. Yeah, Josh Hartnett in there. LL Cool J. It's a great cast. And the movie's great. I like how it's set in a boarding school. Michael seems more vicious. He seems more dialed in. The ending is fantastic. Every scene with Jamie Lee Curtis, with Laurie and Michael Myers is great. So it's a classic for me. Halloween Resurrection. It's razors in the candy. It's razors in the candy. That doesn't need to exist. It's an absolutely atrocious movie. Just putting Jamie Lee Curtis on the poster seems like a lie. This movie is absolutely it's poo. It's poo salad. It's trash. Could do without it. It doesn't do justice. It's not fun size candy. This movie is absolutely razors in the candy. I watch it and I go, nope, shut it off. I've tried to do every year rewatch all the Halloween movies, and normally I do, but whenever I get to Resurrection, it pains me. It pains me a little bit. Rob Zombie's Halloween remake. That's I could do without. I could do without because there are things about it that I do like. And at the same time, I think the negatives outweigh the positives in this. I like the direction of a more grittier um, Michael, a little bit more thought out Michael as far as how evil is he? What was it? Nurture or nature? I like the psychology of that. So that's something I do enjoy. But it's just you spend so much time with young Michael before you get to like the good stuff. That's what I could do without it. I think that it didn't need to exist. It's fine. Halloween 2 is Razors in the Candy. This is Devil's Reject with Michael Myers. That's all it is. It's just weird torture porn trailer trash. I don't know how. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it. The movie sucks. It genuinely just sucks. That's the best way I can describe it myself. Halloween, the 2018 remake. I saw this in theaters while I was in college. I'm gonna go with essential viewing. I think the movie's fantastic. The only thing I don't like about the movie, and this is weird because I think she's a better character in Halloween Kills. I don't like Judy Greer's character in this film, but I will say when Halloween Kills comes around, which we'll talk about that, she comes around for me as well. Halloween 2018, though, I believe is essential viewing. I think it's essential viewing. I think it's great for the Halloween season. I think it feels like Halloween. I think having Michael kind of stalk house from house, you give a little bit of they retcon the brother sister talk and they just make him just a force. They make him the shape again. I think it felt like a real Halloween film, and I'm looking forward to watching it again this year. Halloween Kills. Halloween Kills, I could do without. They're the evil that died at night. Tommy was just like he's played by Anthony Michael Hall, and Anthony Michael Hall, great, in a lot of things. But this movie, I hated him. I hated Tommy's character so much. The kills were great. Don't get me wrong, the kills were great. The title's stupid, but I could do without it. I think you could have went from Halloween directly into Halloween Ends, and you could have just tweaked a few things, and went straight to Halloween Ends because it just was not it. And Halloween Ends is I won't shut it off. I won't shut it off. I think it's fine. People really don't like the Corey character. I don't mind it. I really don't mind it. I thought he did well. I thought it was cool to see a different aspect of things. Michael's old, so him doing all the killing is kind of you as logical as you can be with the franchise. You start to look at things and say, okay, well he's kind of too old to do this kind of stuff. So with that trade off, I'm willing to say I won't shut it off. And in fact, I'm looking forward to watching it again this year. So that finishes up the Halloween franchise. You can kind of see where we're at right now. Let's go ahead and move into the Nightmare on Elm Street. The original Nightmare on Elm Street is an absolute classic. It is completely a classic. Let me go ahead and rank these as I should real quick. Let's just, bottom right there, move that right there. Nightmare on Elm Street. I do not believe that Nightmare on Elm Street is better than any of the Halloween films that I have in classic territory, but I believe it's better than everything else. So, Nightmare on Elm Street was groundbreaking for me to watch. I remember watching that on a VHS tape when I was, probably like 9 or 10, and I was just locked in. Like, the weird red, purple hues, like the gothic horror of A Nightmare on Elm Street always, like, brought me in. I was like, this is cool. This is different. It's mystical. I liked it. I really do like it. So I'm putting it in classic. I can't talk enough about Heather Langenkamp, Johnny Depp, Robert Englund. Everything about those movies are pretty great. The first one at least. Halloween or Friday the 13th. No, Nightmare on Elm Street 2. The Revenge of Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger's Revenge, or the Revenge of whatever. Freddy's Revenge. That's what it was. Thank you. I could do without. And it's not as egregious as the other ones, but I could do without it. It doesn't do anything. It is an interesting take, but it doesn't feel like it fits into the franchise. And a lot of the movies in A Nightmare on Elm Street don't feel like they really fit in the franchise sometimes because tonally it's different, or the characters aren't brought up, they're not mentioned, they feel like they've been kind of forgotten. The fast and loose with the time, that's just how horror movies are. But I could do without Freddy's Revenge. Now we have the Dream Warriors, and the Dream Warriors, to me, that's a classic. That's a classic. Dream Warriors is a classic. Let me just put that right there. I think everything about I sorry, let me go ahead and do that. Better. It's better than a Nightmare on Elm Street. Nightmare on Elm Street 3 is better than the original Nightmare on Elm Street. Everything about the movie's better. The fact that they get powers. Excuse me. Let me just correct this real quick. The fact that they get powers is crazy. They have dream powers. Patricia Arquette's in there. The opening scene is great. Everything about it is pretty awesome. The return of Heather Langenkamp. Nightmare on Elm Street 3, classic. Now, A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, which for some reason I cannot remember the subtitle. Let me look here. The Dream Master. Yeah. So I won't shut it off. I don't think it's essential viewing, but I won't shut it off. And I think it's better than Halloween 2 and Halloween Ends. I won't shut it off, but at the same time, as far as the franchise, this is, to me, in my opinion, the last real good one for a while. And I mean for a while. So, I liked everything about it for the most part. There's some things that I just don't understand in the direction they're going. I think Alice was not I don't think she was a good character. I thought she was very boring. So, for them to kind of pivot to her, made little to no sense to me. That being said, I won't shut it off. The Dream Child is fun size candy. The Dream Child is so stupid. He is like one step away from a cartoon character in this. And let's go ahead and just lump Freddy's Dead right next to it. I'll put Freddy's Dead over here in Razors and Candy, and it's between those two. I'll just talk about both of these because I think these are a pairing almost. These two movies ruined Freddy Krueger because A Dream Child was stupid. Whenever they do the whole playing with the mythology of the character, and they do something like they bring in the whole, Alice has this baby, and Freddy's got to the baby through the dreams, and now the baby's gonna grow up and be evil, and he's trying to get control of the baby so he can be reborn. It was stupid. It was just so stupid, and it's like at the end when he's like the kids talking like Freddy, I was like, man, this is so ridiculous. And then we just slide right into Freddy's Dead, which was fully a cartoon. It was a cartoon. It was a shell of himself. You do a bunch of Freddy Krueger backstory that was just unnecessary. It's Razors in the Candy. It's like, yeah, my mouth is bleeding. It sucks. A New Nightmare. Wes Craven's New Nightmare. In my humble opinion, it's essential viewing. If you are a fan of this franchise, you need to watch New Nightmare. It is a serious take on the franchise once again. It's almost like the 2018 remake to me, where it brings back these core characters, except it is meta as it's in the real world. And it plays with the mythology in such a deeper way. The acting is great. Heather Langenkamp stepping back into the shoes of Nancy. And it's just everything that they do is great. And the kills are like, wow. That's one thing I'll say about the Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, you can talk about these movies, and I'd love to rank the kills. I'll probably do that this year. Wow. Like, they're brutal. He's brutal. He looks evil, which is like, you want Freddy Krueger to look evil because he's evil, right? Fantastic movie. It's essential viewing. Now, Freddy vs. Jason. Freddy vs. Jason to me is essential viewing. And it's essential viewing for the Halloween season, but it's also essential viewing if you grew up watching these movies. If you enjoy these movies, watching Jason growing up, Freddy growing up, you want to see these two guys have their movie together. And I gotta say, it's essential to me. It's one of those films, like, if you are a horror fan, you gotta watch it. Is it a classic? No. It's far from a classic. Some things are probably not going to get by today. But I will say it is an essential film. And speaking of that, we're going to talk about a film that to me is fun size candy. And that is A Nightmare on Elm Street, the remake. Jackie Earle Haley did great. But everyone else in this cast besides Kyle Gallner, I could care less for. Honestly, I could care less for. I can't remember the name of the actress. She plays Nancy. She's not good. I take it back. The what's her name? Whoever plays Tina in the opening, she did fine. But everyone else, and Kyle Gallner, I could care less for. Pivoting into making him more of the dark, because there were undertones that he was a part of Chris Hansen's crew. He was a predator in the first 6 or 7 films. There's undertones of that. He's creepy. He's a little pervy. But they did away with that and they just made him a child killer. They go full throttle with him being a predator at the end of this movie. But the fact that they did a will they won't they with whether or not he was a child predator is insane. It is insane. Pick a lane, stay in a lane. Because doing the whole, oh, well, was he actually innocent of touching these kids and they killed him? And no. I say that to say, A Nightmare on Elm Street, the remake, is fun size candy. It's insulting. The original Friday the 13th is essential viewing, but it's not good. It's essential, but it's not a good movie. It's not. Okay, so it's really slow. The reveal's cool, but it's been out for over 50 years, 40, 50 years by now. So people know what the twist is. The kills are fine for the film. I think it came out in 1980. But it's not good. No, it's a low budget horror film that is a classic. So I'll give it that. But it's not a classic in the category I'm giving it here. So it's essential. Watch it. I think you'll enjoy it. I think with the right mood. I think summertime is the best time to watch Friday the 13th movies because they're summer camp movies. I think that's the best time. I normally watch them during the summer. I'll probably watch them this fall. But it's good. It's good. Part 2 is also essential because it's the introduction of Jason. I'm going to give you a bit of a spoiler. Not a lot of these Friday the 13th movies are made classic here. But Part 2 is great. You get Baghead Jason. I think it's better than Part 1. And I think it's better than Freddy vs. Jason, honestly. But you're going to get Baghead Jason in this film, and I think he is scarier than he is in Part 3. Because something about Baghead Jason, even though he's kind of clumsy, there's that rural hills have eyes kind of vibe to him where you don't know what he's fully capable of. And I think the cast for 2, Ginny or Guinea, I think Ginny is her name. She is like she's a better final girl than in what her name was in the first one. I can't remember her name now. But she's like the best final girl for, because this franchise doesn't have, I always say it doesn't have a bunch of final girls, but it definitely kind of picks, it's fast and loose with final girl, final guy type of deal. But she's the best. She was the best of it. And then you have Part 3, which I'm going to see this week again in theaters. So Friday the 13th Part 3, I think is a classic. Actually, you know what? It's essential. It's essential, but it's better than, I think it's better than these films. Because it just really is like, it's campy enough, but it's still like creepy. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of offsetting. I like it a lot. Let's burn through these. Final Chapter is a classic. Final Chapter is absolutely a classic. And there's one more that's going to be a classic as well. So, Final Chapter is great. Introduction of Corey Feldman before he got all weird. Cool. Crispin Glover's in this. This feels like the first time you kind of connect with Jason's victims. You don't really connect with any of his victims. You do a little bit in 3, but you definitely do in the Final Chapter. So, we're going to put that in classic. A New Beginning, I could do without. And it's not even the most egregious one. I think the franchise, just all in all, could probably do without it. It doesn't need to exist. I mean, it's, it doesn't really advance Tommy's story either. So, there's that. I'm going to leave the spoiler for you. You can just watch the twist and figure it out on your own. Jason Lives is a classic. Jason Lives is my favorite Friday the 13th film. It is super great. It's fantastic. I think you should watch it. I recommend to anybody who wants to get into horror films to watch Jason Lives. The tone is different. It's a bit of a dark horror comedy, but it's what it needs to be. It's exactly what it needs to be. The kills are pretty cool too. Tommy, his character's leaps and bounds better than it's ever been before. There's actual campers. It's great. New Blood, I won't shut it off. I won't shut New Blood off. I don't really care for it. I think the vibe of the film is kind of a come down from what 6 is. So, the whole Carrie versus Jason idea it's all right. I don't care too much for it, but this is where you see the franchise kind of they're pulling at straws trying to figure out how to stay afloat. I think the movie was a box office success. But then it led into this movie, which I believe is Fun Size Candy. And that's Jason Takes Manhattan. This movie underdelivered on all the promises. He's barely in Manhattan. He's also on a ship for most of the movie, which they could just call it Jason Abroad, and that would have been fine with me. I didn't care for the final girl. I didn't care for the final guy. I didn't care for any of the characters, honestly. There's a weird subplot where she was at Camp Crystal Lake when she was a kid and Jason tried drowning her. I don't know. And then the ending just sucks. So, Fun Size Candy. Jason Goes to Hell is going to be something I could do without. I could do without it. I don't think it, besides setting up for Freddy versus Jason, it does way too much weird stuff for the mythology. I don't know where it falls in the timeline. I don't know why they're saying there needs to be different Voorhees and this and that. The kills are brutal. I'll give him that. But, besides that, I could do without that film. Jason X, I won't shut it off. I think Jason X is a fun movie. So, it was the first one that I ever owned on DVD. I remember watching it and really enjoying it as a kid, but the older I got, I kind of tuned out of it. It would make me do this. So, Jason X is, it's half and half. I'll give it that. It's a very half and half film. And let's talk about the final film here. The remake for Friday the 13th. I think the remake for Friday the 13th is at the top of my I won't shut it off list. Because it is a very good remake. I think that they put 3 movies in one. They did it very well. You have Danielle Panabaker, she's in it. Homie from Supernatural, Jared Padalecki, he's in it. It's like the 2009-2010 cast of the Who's Who. It's just people that you saw, maybe Veronica Mars or whatever. I really liked it. And then the opening, you have an opening that's pretty much 15, 20 minutes of just brutality. And it leads into what film you're getting. So, all in all, this is my list. And this is the list I'm cool with sticking by. So, you have your classics here. You have Halloween 4, H2O. You got Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, Jason Lives, so Friday the 13th Part 6, and then Part 4. And of course, you can see the rest right there. The only ones I think are absolutely horrible, and I think most people agree with these takes. I don't think I'm out of pocket with these takes. If I am, let me know in the comments. Let me know where you would move things around, where you would change things. But the only ones that I think truly are horrible films, Resurrection, Freddy's Dead, and Halloween 2. I don't think Jason has a film that's completely horrible like that. So that's just me. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and I'm looking forward to posting some more videos like this. We're going to take a little step back from posting the true crime videos just for a second. I have a podcast you can listen to, Creepy. I'll post those on there for right now, but in the meantime, we're just going to post some nice chill